Welcome back to the Suburban Trap House. This is a episode, okay? This is an episode. It's gonna be a short episode, I promise, guys. There's no Madden here next to me. There's no real. There is a topic. There's a topic. I'm heated right now, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Superman's new trailer or teaser, not trailer, came out. I want to say a few days ago. Yeah, came out a few days ago, and the more I watch reactions to it, the more I feel I'm taking this off. The more I feel I need to give a talking about it. You know, I feel like when it's gonna be me and Madden, we're still gonna talk about this. We'll bring it back up. But right now, I don't think I've been. Is there a show I've been so irritated about that I actually was like, I'm gonna talk about this? I don't know, but the beginning of this year, I'm going to double check. We talked about Superman. Last year, we talked about Superman. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's going to do good because it's Superman, but I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they're not using CGI, but it still looks like they're using CGI. And I'm also not a big fan of what they just put out in this teaser. I'm not a big fan of that. So, this teaser is, I don't really have words for it. It's not bad, and I will be real, I smiled. You got a smile and a small chuckle out of me, only because I'm a fan of pets. And if you guys have seen this teaser, then you guys know Crypto the dog. His dog is Superman's dog is in it, and he is very dog-like. But how do I put this? I don't think any loyal pet would never be able to notice their owner injured at some point in time. I feel like that's a very weird thing to add in. Now, this could be because James Gunn is making this dog look more and act more like his dog, and that just might be how his dog is in those situations where it's oblivious to the fact that somebody could be hurt or in harm's way at any point in time. But yeah, Superman is extremely weak at the beginning of this, which I think is actually a cool way to start off. I think if you're going to start off the teaser, dope. Have him crash to the ground, have him do all that. I really don't think they should be reusing this one scene, though, which they have over and over and over again. This is like the main prop we have for Superman being good is the fact that he crash lands in the Arctic, and we're supposed to be shocked at this because Superman is strong and can't take anything like that. And I think it really takes away from the fact that he's Superman. You know? I feel like a good teaser for Superman, a good teaser for any superhero thing should be showing the superhero in action. And that's how we're getting teased, is that we haven't had a Superman in so long, but now we're having a Superman that's showing up weak. Like, we haven't seen him at his prime yet. We've seen him at his weakest point. I'm not a big fan of that as a teaser, you know? I mean, we can take the way the Marvel just did their teaser for the opening production of Doomsday. You know, they had the chairs, they stacked chairs. It had nothing to do with any of the actual characters on screen. It had more to do with the actors we were going to be seeing. Which, I mean, they have the chance to do that. This is a reboot for DC, and I don't think they're doing it correct. We're getting not one of the top superhero in all of superhero. If you said, who is your favorite superhero to anybody, I guarantee Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are showing up the most. Maybe Captain America and maybe Iron Man because of the MCU's height. Like, that in all seriousness, the top superheroes, the top 4 and 5 superheroes, probably there's only one MCU person. There's probably only one MCU, and it's Spider-Man. And that wouldn't even be because of the MCU, it'd be because of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's movies. So I really think that the way they are showing and starting off Superman's story, I'm not even going to say trilogy. I have no idea how many movies they're planning on putting out for him, but the way they're starting I'm not a big fan. Not a huge fan. I don't remember. You guys can go back and I'll put it in the card thing up there. But you guys can go back and watch our comments on the original, the first thing we ever saw for Superman. And I think I'm still on par with where I was then. I think I said I think it'll do good, but I'm not a big fan right now. The way it looks to me is yucky. It's vibrant but dull. There's a lot going on. It doesn't feel like we're there. It feels like you're trying to beam it at my face, and it feels like it's supposed to be like this big expression, like it's supposed to be overwhelming because it's Superman, and that's not what it doesn't fit well with me. I don't like it. I'm seeing a lot of creators and reactors. I'm actually watching one right now. That's what sparked this whole conversation. Tyrone Magnus, big fan of Tyrone Magnus, and I agree with most of the stuff he says. It feels like it's going to be one of the worst Superman we've had. Just blanket statement. This feels like, off just the trailers, this could be, if not already is, the worst Superman we've seen. And that's putting into consideration the fact that the Supermans before this were Henry Cavill, and most of them were practical effects. So, like, if you put that onto a scale of Henry Cavill's Superman didn't feel like Superman, but if we're being real, it was the darker version of Superman. If we saw a dark Superman, it's Henry Cavill's Superman, Zack Snyder's Superman. That's who we're looking at for a dark version of Superman. Like, if we were to see the Injustice Superman, it would be Henry Cavill, probably perfectly, if he didn't care about human lives as much. Just as simple as that, which a lot of people have that argument for the Man of Steel movie, which is Kal-El in Man of Steel doesn't care for humans as much, even though he wants to be exactly like one, because he kills Zod and then doesn't actually try to protect Metropolis from being destroyed. He just stops Zod, right? And I can agree with the fact that he doesn't protect Metropolis, but I cannot agree with the fact that Superman doesn't kill and didn't have to kill in that one moment because of the way he views everything else. I don't want to go too far into that movie because I'm a dick rider for that movie, okay? But the way this movie looks, this new teaser that they just put out, it feels like one of two things. It feels like this is going to be an amazing movie and they're trying to sell it right now. Like, and by sell it, I don't mean they're trying to make it better to us. I think they are trying to sell the fact that this scene and the parts that we've seen are the worst parts. I think they're selling that, and if they're doing that, they're doing a great job. But if they're trying to sell the fact that this is a good movie and Superman is one of the top tier superheroes and that you should really enjoy this movie because it's Superman, they're failing. 110% they're failing. Yeah, and again back to the Arctic where he crash lands, where everybody has seen this teaser by now. If we're talking about that moment, the only explanation is that he has kryptonite in his system at that time, or he's currently wearing off the kryptonite. But then in this teaser, they have a moment where they go into the Fortress of Solitude, and the robots, which are definitely 100% sentient, they didn't do a good job at not showing that. They have a line where they say, we don't have emotion, or we don't have feelings, so you saying thank you doesn't matter. But then right after that, one of the other ones is a new robot. So they come in and they're like, "Oh, Superman looked at me. That's flattering." Like they have like the signs of emotion in them, and I don't think they did a good job at not showing that. Like if you're gonna have the statement that these robots don't feel emotion, don't have a robot feel emotion the next frame. Not even scene, frame. The next frame over, right as we turn the camera, this robot has emotions. But then also they're saying he needs sunlight, and it's daylight. The sun's beaming on him when he crash lands, and then they bring him inside, and they have to amplify the light, yes, but still, he's in the sunlight the entire time. How is he not getting healed right now? And then they also make the healing look very painful, which I don't think if Superman was getting stronger, it would look as painful, because he's not a fucking human. He's an alien who gains strength from the sun. I don't, like, it's probably a very comic, it's probably going to be very comic accurate. It's probably going to be a very visually good-looking film when the whole thing comes out, and we're not seeing these, 30-second clips smashed up into 3 minutes. But from what I've seen, and from what I've heard from other people that I strongly agree with, it's not a good film so far. So far, it's not going to be a good film, and it is not a good film from what I've seen. And I feel the same way about, like, Fantastic Four a little bit. I'm a little iffy on Doomsday. They just got into production, so it could be the fact that some things are trying to be pushed too hard, and some things aren't being pushed enough, It could be either of those things. But, I just wanted to quickly go on this rant that I didn't want to take the time out of a different episode we're doing. So yeah, hopefully this rant is okay. Hopefully you guys can agree or disagree with what I'm saying. And yeah, Superman, you better be good, because if you're not good, then I'm gonna be real disappointed. But correct at the same time. Yeah. Go like, comment, subscribe. Shout out W for sponsoring us. Trap House 25. Dope. We just put out a new ad, so you guys can watch that. And new Daredevil episode coming soon. Deuces.